Okay, so welcome to the second session of Rasa Sastra or demystifying mineral medicines. I'm audible, right? If someone can confirm. Okay, so looks like I'm audible. So we are getting started on the agenda now. So basically, this will have the similar agenda like what we had in the last conversation. Basically, we will be talking about some of the mineral medicines which are basically based on metals and minerals. And also, we will quickly look at how homeopathy overlaps. And we will be talking more on Rasa Shastra, basically on the therapeutic side and the products, what's available and how it works. And a lot of Vedic philosophies are attached to this. So basically, you need to get a gist of that. So we will tell you how basically Vedic, relation helps you to understand metals better. Okay, so let's start on the overall view. Homeopathy also has all the kind of metals what we talk about in Rasa Shastra. Very similar, very straightforward in homeopathy. We will try to show you some medicines on how homeopathy has similar range of medicines. It's just the way of preparation and the way of it is delivered will be quite different. And coming to Rasa Shastra, basically it's a branch of Ayurveda, and a Buddhist monk, Nagarjuna, is the one who made it popular. And so there are a lot of Rasa Shastra, Samhitas and books. So, quite extensive documentations are available on Rasa Shastra, and it's quite widely used. It's just that some of the toxicity associated with these metals have prevented a lot of people from taking it or even trying it. But let's go back to this Rasa Shastra. And the reason why we wanted to touch is they say there is no better medicine than mercury. So mercury is what is called Rasa, and Mercury Shastra or Mercury study is what is all about, because that is the ultimate medicine in Rasa Shastra or Ayurveda, a purified mercury. So why we wanted to have this is we wanted to stoke a alchemical fire, because the metals and minerals what we are talking about is basically a part of Ayurveda. And as I told you, what is Rasa and Shastra? Rasa is all about mercury, and why it makes it safe is the purification process all these metals go through in Ayurveda or in Rasa Shastra. So let's look at some of the history. The Rasa Shastra was basically the science of mercury and branch of Ayurveda. Anywhere you go, it just talks about mercury as the prominent medicine. And also that, we have always knew that gold, silver, copper were pretty useful and medicinal. But, they have a better form of delivering these in Rasa Shastra by making it nano level. So basically, the alchemy also is talks about how you can use or convert mercury into gold. Because if you see from a scientific perspective, mercury has all the metals. If you try to dissect mercury, it is a combination of iron, gold, silver, so everything mixed kind of thing. But there are some toxins also in it which has to be purified. That's why alchemy is turning mercury into gold. There were signs like that. And the god, which is Shiva himself, taught Rasa Shastra is what has been believed. And as I told you earlier, Nagarjuna, Saint Nagarjuna is the one, a Buddhist sage who made this, quite popular in those days. So, but before we get started with, some of the metals, we'll look at some of the salt minerals. See, I think most of you are aware that, how important it is to move into some of the mineral rich salts like rock salt or sea salt and things like that. So this was pretty much known even in Vedic days. They had something called Panchalavana. As per, apart from rock salt, black salt and sea salt, there is also something called Vida Lavana. Then there is the Romaka Lavana. These are also quite, important to your body. So it gives a lot of minerals, which can change your, the kind of functions of organs can pretty much get benefited. So that's why there, there are very few products on Panchalavana. Till now, most of the people are not manufacturing Panchalavana because of the scarcity of some of those salts. Fortunately, we are seeing only one product, as I showed you, that they are able to sell Panchalavana. All the other big players have added this Panchalavana part of some of the products like Chitra Kadi Vati and in Dabur Lavana Bhaskara. So there is no direct, very few products are there on the full availability of Panchalavana. So let's get into some of the therapeutic of things. So there is bhashmas, there are even pishtis. So when they say pishti, it is all about preparation from gems or minerals. So that is another name you will be coming across when you come to Rasa Sastra. You will hear something called pishtis, bhasma, and other stuff. Like one of the example is akik pishti. So basically, it is nothing but it is prepared from a gemstone, and that gemstone from a chemistry point, it is more of a mineral of silica. Ayurveda used a lot of minerals from gems right from those ages. So we'll go into more details there, but whenever you come across pishti or bhashma, you need to you're pretty much coming back to Rasa Shastra. Okay. And coming into metals, what Ayurveda says on metals and minerals, basically metals, something like gold, silver, copper, lead, tin, every kind of, most of the metals are being used. Minerals like red arsenic, gems, salts are all used. And also these are drugs pertaining to earth. That's why it's called Bhauma. Some of the Vedic philosophies talks about. But before you get into some of the other details, I'll tell you the most widely used medicines. As I told you, Rasa Shastra is all about using mercury. There's something called Panchamrit Parpati. So it is a combination of this mercury, sulfur, iron, mica, and copper. So there are more on Parpati. Parpati is also, you need to understand that apart from Bhashma, Pishti, they also call it as Parpati. Okay. So there are few products who call Bhashma, some call Rasa, some call. So you will have to get through some of these terminologies. We will talk about what is Rasa Parpati and all that little later. But I did tell you that Pishti is nothing but some stones, gemstones. And, there are other, like I told you, Rasa, like if you try to see what is Kamaduda Rasa, which is nothing but Mukta, Bhashma Yukta. Basically, they have taken all the shells of pearl shell, coral shell, oyster shell, cowrie shell, then conch shell. So all these are added. So basically, all the shells are rich in calcium. So if you're looking for calcium and who are very vegetarians, they can use pretty much these shells or pishtis, which can not only give you calcium, but it can give you a lot of minerals in it. So each shell has its unique therapeutic use. But if you're looking for just calcium, these are the best source to absorb into if you are vegetarians. And moving into, there are other bhashmas which I talked about, like it could be, not only metals. Some of the names for coral pearl, which is called pishti, is also called bhashma in some of the vendors. So that's why it's quite confusing that why some call bhashma, some call pishtis, some call parpatis. It's just a bit of variations on how they do it and things like that. So there is something called Swarna Makshik. So it is mainly made of chalcopyrite. All these details will come through. I'm just giving a glimpse. So whatever you just saw, I've just summarized here, that sometimes you'll find by name Bhashmas, Parpatis, Rasa Yoga, or Sinduras. So like if you go to Kottakalam, they use Sindura as the thing, like instead of saying Bhashmas for all the product. Similarly, there are calcinized forms of metals, which I told you, bhashmas. There is in Siddha medicine called parpams. In Unani, it is called tib. So basically, all the branches of medicine, including homeopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, all use metals. It's just that they term it either bhashma, parpams, tib, and things like that. In homeopathy, it is called metallicum. So similarly, when these metals are taken, they do something called kushta, which kills all the toxics in metal. So that's why a lot of people say, "Can I now take mercury?" You're just saying that mercury is the overall thing. No, it has to be purified. And in purification process in Ayurveda, they call it as kushta, which kills all the toxics in the metals, detoxifying the toxic properties of a metal. So this you need to understand that why when you take any heavy metals, it is still safe in Ayurveda because they are not giving you raw format, they're giving you purified format. In purification, they remove the toxics. So that kushta is part of that shodhana, which is a purification process which I'm talking about. They see they are doing this purification of shodhana with some of the reactions, phase, incorporation of other minerals, and treating with some herbals and all that kind of things. And also not only metals, they also use I talked about seashells. They also use some of the animal horns. They use some of the feathers of birds and metallicum and non-metallicum. So there are quite different variety of bashmas you can get or pishtis. So now as I told you, this pretty much says what an bashma is, how it is subjected to some of the purification, and some of the crucibles in pits using cow dung cakes, they are purified or treated. All that is part of the pharmacy. So now so Shodhana, this gives you just an idea of that all these metals are not just handed over to you just to easily, just like any raw thing. It's more of getting you the purified process. These are some of the purified process where it's chemically done by heating, burning, treating with herbals, and things like that. So basically it eliminates all the harmful matters. It also modifies undesirable physical properties. It breaks it down for your body to absorb. So there's quite a good amount of purification or shodhanam which is done before it is handed over to you for consumption. And there are few processes like Shuddha Vrata is a particular stage of heating when fire becomes strong enough to yield the pure substance of metal. Means when you eat a metal, it can yield a pure substance out of that metal. Okay, and they just try to find it out with the flame, which becomes golden yellow. And there is also something called which we talked about burning and purifying is called marana, which is the process of calcination or breaking it down. So I'll not get into this. I just we are putting these details just for you to understand that these heavy metals can be converted to medicine, and how basically they are doing in Ayurveda. We will try to focus more on the medicines because we have 100 plus slides to finish in this small time, and we might break up this session into two sessions. So probably in next 20 minutes or 30 minutes, we'll be having a break for a minute or five. You will be rejoining for the second session if required, because we have a too long slides, too much of 100 plus slides, and we want to focus on therapeutic use and some of the products, how you can uh, get to buy or get to use kind of things. Okay, so Marana is all about that. There is also the process called Amrita Karana, which is making sure they make the metal safer. So we can see that they use sometimes Triphala decoction. They sometimes use cow's gritam. They also use they are all placed in iron pots, and how it is being heated and things like that. So we are just trying to tell you some of the how they get the thing. But at the end of the day, it's all bashmas, more or less 80 to 90% of metals. And these importance is that it can be easily absorbed to your body. It can cleanse your kidneys. It can elevate insomnia, depressions. It can put your heart beatings back on track. It can aid in your nervous systems, metabolisms, alkalinity. So a lot of things can be done with bashmas. And this is one single slide. You need to keep it handy because all these bashmas use abraka, jasada, loha, mandura. So you get confused about these names. But when you just apply your chemistry translation, loha is nothing but iron oxide. Mandura is also an iron oxide, a different variation. I talked about peacock feather. It is called Myra picha. You also have pearl, which is called mukta, and you have lead called naga. You have silver called rajata. Tamra is copper. Vanga is tin. So basically, if you want to consume any of these, like if you see, if you have anemia, if you have any kind of weakness, you just have to take iron. So you can take Loha Bhashma or Mandura Bhashma. If you have toxicity in your body, you can take copper and silver. So basically, you can take Tamra and you can take silver, which is Rajata. So it's pretty easy, but it's just that these are very nano levels. You don't, when you, it's very cheap, 60 rupees, or Patanjali 20 rupees. When you take it, you need to be careful that you don't take that whole one spoon. You have to take one bit of it. In a sense, it's not even like how you take even bindi, small touch of a bindi, small touch, that kind of small quantity you need to consume daily. And why all this, of Rasa Shastra, Mercury? So basically, in Ayurveda and in some of these books, they have clearly written that, if you see the Sanskrits I've pasted there, uh, basically it talks about when a processed mercury or a purified mercury can eliminate all sorrow of elderly people and diseases of body and mind. And if you see the second thing, it can eliminate all diseases and also strengthen and stabilize your body and mind. These are all coming from Vedic text. I've put in a Sanskrit text above. You can understand. Also, it can eradicate any diseases without causing any other side effects. So, a purified mercury, which is nothing but a composition of all metals with some toxins, when purified, can change your body and mind. And Rasa Shastra is therapeutic because it prevents diseases. It is a destroyer of diseases. It is considered holy. It has various aspects of being an aphrodisiac, tonic, and things like that. So the example is in one of the Sanskrit texts, gold and tin is a great combination. Charaka says that no poison can be sustained in the body of people who have ingested gold. That's the power of gold, because the presence of gold destroys all the effects of any types of poisons in your body. So if you have any poisoning, you can pretty much give gold and silver. If it is said that if you take tin, it can prepare tin, it can you'll never get any even sukra kasa in even in dreams, it seems. So that is the kind of powers of gold and tin, but purified form. Silver is also having a lot of properties, but its actions are, it can strengthen your brain, heart, and stomach. But what we know, silver is also a very good antibiotic. So if you have infections, the first thing you need to take is silver. So in allopathy also they use something called colloidal silver, which is nothing but what you get in Bhashma, nano level silvers. So basically, it has multiple use. Most of the metals have multiple use. So there's no, only thing is you need to understand it can work on multiple things, but what prominently can each metal do for your body? And that's why when you have toxicity, take silver. When you have any kids who are having challenges in terms of their brain development and things like that, gold is a beautiful thing. And for anyone who is aging, who want overall growth, overall performance, overall thing, mercury is the only solution there. So like this, we go on in terms of there are these are pretty much text. What I'm talking about is pretty much what is practically viable for these metals to be used for. And there is another example like iron chalcopride. So basically in Sanskrit it says that suvarna makshika means it looks like gold, and it is used in rasayana. It is iron chalcopride can cure brain disorders as per Vedic text. But we say it's more of gold which can do the biggest change. But as it is a chalcopride, apart from iron, there are other minerals which makes iron with other minerals a good rasayana for brain disorders. And iron is always takes care of your blood hemoglobin or liver. So basically, if you have a brain, if you have a blood problem, liver problem, iron is the default medicine to use. So iron also has another version called Mandura. Basically, it is a purified iron oxide. And when you use iron oxide, another version of instead of Loha, you use Mandura. You can basically take care of tuberculosis, splenomegaly, and things like that. Zinc is a great catalyst we have used in homeopathy. That zinc, which is called Esada here, Esada Pashma, it can take care of eye disease, diabetic anemia, and cough. But what we have seen practically is zinc can take care of your stress, anxiety, fearfulness. So a lot of those immediate results we have found in homeopathy. But as you get lost in with what you can treat with what. You just keep these principles intact. For head, gold. For your antibiotics, infection, silver. For anything with muscular, anything with nerves, keep copper. And anything for liver, blood, iron. If you know this much, pretty much you will. And for any overall thing, mercury. This is all you need to know. Why we are trying to show you so much of slides and things like that is the textbooks are quite extensive in terms of giving you a lot of things, but you need to know pretty much close principal remedies, or we call in homeopathy polycrest medicines. So similarly, there is one plant apart from iron for liver. There is a liver herb called kutaki. So if anyone has any problem with liver's blood, because blood and liver are quite interconnected. If you have liver problem, you'll have blood problem. If you have blood problem, that means liver already has a problem or some kind of thing. So use iron, and then you can use kutaki, plant metal and herbal based solutions for your thing. Okay, and I talked about mercury a lot, and we will now come into some phase of getting into kajoli, mercury, and sulfur, and that will. But if you see the other textures here, it says if you are using the second from the top, Hiraka Bashma, which is made out of diamond, basically it says diamond ash can cure cancer, immunity disorders, and things like that. If you come to the third one, which is called, which has diamond, gold, silver, and thing, it can treat ovarian cyst, it can treat your uterine fibroids and things like that. So that means gold has the power, silver has the antibiotics, diamond as the healing. So there is a different combination of these metals and gemstones can make wonders to your thing. But pretty much you need to correlate it how gold, silver, and iron can work, because every metal can work on different organs. So we'll show you that diagram if possible, that what metals work predominantly on what thing. If you come down, similarly there are other like mercury, sulfur, and conch shell. It can treat diarrhea, respiratory things, immunity disorders, cancers, and cysts. So there are various versions. Instead of getting lost in the first row of names, try to be on the ingredient side. So whenever you take any rasa or bashmas or pishtis or parpatis, just try to look at the ingredient. Seeing the ingredient, you can say gold means okay, somewhere on the on your neurological side, you'll be better off. Oh, it has iron. Okay, in your liver and blood will be taken care. Okay, it has something called any shells. Basically, that will help you with calcium and other minerals. And each shell has certain properties which we'll try to come out with. And mercury, anywhere you see purified mercury and sulfur, that is ultimate medicine. And most of it are encoded as kajali. So you will see in most of the cases, they'll say kajali plus gold plus silver. That means that they have added purified mercury plus sulfur and gold and things, other things. So we will show you all that, as we have too much of slides and this might stretch more than 1 hour. And I want to keep it interesting because most of, or few of you might be first time for this session. So not everyone would like to dwell too much into these details. Okay, so going back to alchemy of Rasa Sastra, which is alchemy means converting, something mercury into gold or something like that. But what Shiva says is, or Rasakalpa says is, if you have a Shiva lingam, like what this Sadhguru has done, he has made a Shiva lingam out of mercury. So basically, he has understood Rasa Shastra. Basically, they are replicating Rasakalpa, which is image of Shiva lingam made out of mercury and gold in the thing. So even when you touch that, or when you are around those things, it can have a healing effect. And if you consume it in a small quantity, purified one, it can still make the wonders. So that's the secret of some of these Hindu temples, about talking about Rasa Shastra, or how Rasa means mercury, how mercury can be used, how gold can be used, and things like that. So we will now get into some of the deep dive stories of how Rasa Shastra is built on mercury and sulfur, and how other metals and other products, which we just talked about, how to obtain those in the markets. Okay, so basically, if you're looking at some of the Rasa Sastra alchemy is basically says that mercury can absorb all metals into it. Basically, that is true. And if you look at what is the definition or what is the ingredient of a mercury, it has absorbed all toxin, all minerals or metals into it. So basically, why mercury is quite dangerous is there are toxins, there are gold, iron, everything mixed into it. So basically, instead of to removing all the other metals from it, what we basically do in purification is they try to remove only the toxin out of it and keep all the rest of the metals as per whatever it has been formed. So that's why if you want to make mercury, sometimes in alchemy stories, they can put lot other metals, mix it together and make a mercury. Or else you get a mercury and try to get out other metals out of it. So that's alchemy stories, what you can hear and talk about it. I think we will probably running out of time for this session. In a sense, we need to resume in another 5 minutes for the second round of session. So basically, we will now in another in a minute or so, we'll join back to the same session, and we will continue because we still have around 70 to 70 slides to complete. So we will continue from here, take a break for a minute or so, and in 5 minutes we will be back on this session. So if you want quickly, we can take some questions, or I still have 8 minutes, but I think it's better we break and continue. If we want, we can take a quick questions or any feedback, so that when we resume in 5 minutes, we can talk about how you want this to be better in next 5 minutes. Questions, please.
So I had a question, though you have indicated rasa, all these metals and in the purified form, they are good for the body. But it is also heard, maybe if you can clarify that a bit, that when you take metals in the body, even for medicinal use, sometimes the residual part of it stays in the liver, which over a period of time, causes other issues. So is it true, or is it just in the purified version it doesn't stay? What is the actual fact behind
So
it?
the first thing is true that there are certain heavy metals which can stay in liver, because liver is the one which cleanses your blood and which cleanses your food and converts it to blood. So basically, anything you have any toxin is all accumulated in your liver. From liver, it discharges via gallbladder. Only thing is when these metals like mercury, which also has a toxin, and if you put that kind of mercury in, it will be in your liver. But in a purified form, as there's no toxin, even if that mercury stays in your liver or in your blood or in a purified version, nano level, it will not hurt. Because if you have seen yesterday's video, which I posted about, Sadhguru also says, not only purified version, the whole, the liquid form is so heavy that it can make a hole in your stomach. So that's why, basically you need to take a nano level and purified form. And if that is the case, wherever it is, it doesn't hurt your organs. So basically, there are metal traces in your body. Like that's why if you do a blood report, they tell how much iron is there in your blood. So basically nothing but the metals what you have eaten is there in your blood. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So what I understand is in small quantities, very very iota, it does good, but if it is actually residing, then that
Yeah,
causes toxicity in the liver.
absolutely. Any metal, even iron. Your blood needs iron, but if you put excess iron or excess copper, it can lead to. That's why Rasa Sastra is a lot of place underplayed, because how you use it matters. If you use it or if you make it excess, it can lead to toxicity. That's why having it is not a problem. Having it in excess is a problem. It's not like allopathy. The problem with today's medication is everyone is used to daily taking 3 tablets. So anything you take Ayurveda and Ashwapathy, you think you still need 3 tablets a day. That's the problem today.
Something like Ghatri law. If you're consuming it, it should not be more than 1 or 2 tabs a day.
Yes.
If you overdo it, then
most of the treatment in holistic treatments in Ayurveda or anything, no medicine should be taken for ever. Only allopathy is the guy who says that you need to take for the rest of your life. If you are taking
Hmm.
in these medicines for your rest of life, that means basically your immune system is getting used to that. It is no more medicine to your body, and it might react opposite to your bodies. So anything like we
Okay.
palas or ashistamadus or any of these metals, nothing is for
Hmm.
lifetime. It is just a one course, probably um,
For
quarterly.
a couple of weeks,
Yeah,
days,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so
No, I'm just generally asking.
yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
let's ask another time. Okay,
Yeah.
so my question was specific somebody suffering from eyes, so something like I do, and from the Ayurvedic doctors, I was prescribed to do Dhatri law or Saptamrit law, and I could continue it for over the period of time. Though I don't know how much is actually helped, but because my hemoglobin keeps on a normal level, but I don't know if the period it has to be stopped because the doctor didn't say that. He said continue.
I think we'll take that a little offline because it's a quite big topic in terms of
Okay.
because I probably posted today in the health club in terms of what happens during menstrual cycle, why you need to recharge on iron, why do you deplete iron, why most of the ladies are anemic, and
Hmm.
so all that is a pretty long one. So I think we'll be running out of time.
Okay.
Quick,
Let's do it later. Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Right.
I think we have 3 minutes before we resume in 5 minutes. Okay, the flow is good, right? I hope everyone is okay with the flow because there's too much of text I'm not reading because the essence of this session is to only give you an detail but not to read through that and get you a feel of comfort to use pashmas whenever you meet a Ayurveda doctor or when you get to a level where you understand how this works. Okay.
Yes, it's perfect.
Yeah, fine then. So we'll drop now and just join back in a minute or so. Okay.